Welcome to the weekly edition of VR News. Today's headlines: FCC approves Quest 3 controllers, some doubts about tracking. Meta employ, they vibrate and are tapered. They works just fine. Full details of Quest 3 to be revealed at Meta Connect 2023 on September 27. Zuckerberg, we will tell you everything. Users associations, you could have waited a little longer. FCC also approves Quest 3. Meta's new headset is officially marketable. Buzzword, it would have been embarrassing if they hadn't approved it. Meta will showcase new prototypes of VR headsets with varifocal lenses and retina resolution screens. Zuckerberg, we listened to users, they wanted clarity. Combat Waffle Studios, developers of Ghosts of Tabor, announce a new survival game that will be the Rust of VR. Tabor players, yes, but first release Tabor from Alpha. Roblox surpasses 1 million downloads on Quest in just 6 days. David Baszucki to Jim Ryan. Now you see how it's done? Green Hell VR coming to PSVR2 on August 15. Exclusive video leaked, but may not be like the PCVR version. PSVR2 owners, what the heck? Immersed present productivity headset with 4K micro OLED, named Visor, hopefully it will break the bank. Meta releases new trailer for Asgard Wraith 2, showcasing the Cosmic Guardian. Rich can play, but PCVR Players Association protest.
Won't be available on PC.
I Expect You to Die 3 arrives on Quest headset in August. My bad, I forgot to include in the upcoming games list, okay? Lynx R1 headset production begins. First shipment expected by the end of this year. Associations of those who already pre-ordered, we don't even remember ordering it. Greetings, Riff Ruff, and welcome back. These were the headlines of the most important news from the last week. Before we dive into the details, I want to thank this week's supporters, Dario and Los Browns. Nice name. Thank you very much for your generosity, and thanks to all the other users who follow the channel and watch my videos. Now, let's move into the news. We are in the very final stage of Quest 3 launch on the market. In the last weeks, the various parts of the headset are receiving FCC approval. Last week, for example, it was the Quest 3 controllers. They no longer have visible rings, raising some concern about quality and efficiency of the tracking. However, recent informations reassure users, as the IR LEDs previously on the rings has been moved onto the controller's face. Moreover, Quest 3 is capable to track simultaneously controllers and hands. Also, some Meta employees claimed they had no problem playing Beat Saber on Expert Plus difficulty. The Quest 3 controllers use the same 2.4 GHz frequency as the previous controllers, but with slightly lower output power, which could lead to an even longer battery life from the single AA battery that powers them. All this suggests that Quest 3 controllers should be problem-free, and if sometimes things go wrong in Meta, it's probably because employees are busy playing Beat Saber. It's almost certain that we will know all the features of Quest 3 even before it arrives on our doorstep. On September 27 and 28, during Meta Connect 2023, a keynote will be broadcasted revealing all the Quest 3 features, release date, and pre-order information. The event will also cover other announcements such as development progress on various projects, product previews, and innovation in AI and XR sector. However, there are no news about games, but remember that Meta Connect has always primarily focused on hardware and corporate development, so do not expect much about gaming announcement, the SEC has also approved Quest 3, avoiding the potential embarrassment of having announced it here and there and then being rejected by the FCC. The approval documents reveal that Quest 3 will support Wi-Fi 6E as it covers the 6 GHz frequency band. At the SIGGRAPH 2023, Meta will present two new headset prototypes. Last year they showcased Project Starburst, featuring HDR display with brightness of 20,000 nits, the highest ever in VR headsets. But this year, Butterscotch and Flamera will take center stage. Butterscotch is designed to reach retina resolution and varifocal optics, while Flamera offer real-time pass-through without reprojection. Meta stated that these prototypes features are designed for headset of a distant future, and they may never come to consumer headsets. There is a free app that allows you to show your PC screen in VR and create additional virtual screens up to a maximum of 5. This app is developed by Immersed, a startup that is also working on its first headset entirely dedicated to the productivity. Named Visor, the headset will have an integrated processor, of which the specs are still unknown, but it supports wireless connection and inside-out tracking. The micro OLED screen provides 4K per eye, and it features HD color pass-through with AR capabilities. The only major limitation is that it's solely intended for work and productivity. However, Immersed claims that the price will be below Apple Vision Pro's $3,500. Lynx R1 is a standalone headset that it was originally scheduled for December 2022, and it was supposed to be the first headset with color HD pass-through, and after some requests from early adopters who had already pre-ordered the headset, the manufacturer responded that December units were actually DVT, designed validation test, essentially test units that didn't meet required standards. In addition to further delays and postponements, now we have an headset with a XR2 Gen 1 chipset, just like the one in Quest 2 and Pico 4, expected to arrive by the end of this year, but without controllers, as they are currently in design phase. My solidarity goes to all those who already pre-ordered Lynx R1. Let's switch gear and let's talk about games. Combat Waffle Studios, developer of Ghosts of Tabor, has announced they are working on a new game called Grim. This will be an open-world survival game heavily inspired by Rust. Players will need to survive harsh landscapes, exploring them to gather resources and craft new tools to improve their chances of survival. Player will also encounter both other players and creatures on a 16 square kilometers open map, with server accommodating up to 100 players at time. Combat Waffle Studios is not particularly known for resolving issues and bugs in their games, as evident from the Ghost of Tabor experience that after many months we are still playing what seems like an alpha. For every problem fixed, 12 new ones appear. Old issues that seems resolved return sometime to ruin the game experience, so I suggest to fix what players have paid for, instead of creating hype for a new game from which take more money, only to leave it in alpha for months and months. So let's learn to do things in order. Create something, complete it properly, and then move to something else. Especially because, from what I'm seeing on the official Discord, they don't seem to do nothing better than Suppor. It's always the same approximate, buggy and broken mechanics, threw it there just to create expectations. So, do a good job, otherwise you will not take my money. Thank you. On the other hand, let's talk about things done right, because Roblox VR on Quest has already surpassed over 1 million downloads in just 6 days. But this was predictable, given that the game boasts over 60 million active users. I tried though, and I realized that is, for the most, not a native VR version, but rather a VR support for those worlds already present in the flat version, although you can explore few other experiences and games exclusively created for VR. Now, good news for PSVR2 users, Green Hell VR may arrive on Sony new headset on August 15. The announcement video was initially posted on the Incuvo official YouTube channel, but later set to private. However, the trailer was uploaded on other channels, and as I'm showing you right now, the release date is indeed 15 August 2023. However, I noticed a little issue, and I noticed it because I am very familiar with the PC VR version and with the standalone version. The trailer entirely lacked the housing structures, except for the hut, and tools are created by physically combining two objects instead of following a more complex recipe. And this is one of the main differences that distinguishes the PC version from the standalone version. The standalone version is more limited in terms of exploration and crafting. This leads me to think that the PSVR2 version may be an enhanced version of the standalone one rather than the PC version, which will be a shame, because when the cooperative mode will be released for the VR version of the game, only PC players will be able to play together. I hope I'm wrong, but we will find out soon, and I hope it won't be another disappointment for PSVR2 owners who will get a prettier but content-poor standalone version. The first hours of the extensive campaign of Asgard's Wraith 2 are showcased in a new trailer released by Meta. The trailer focuses on the protagonist, the Cosmic Guardian. It includes much of the material that was shown already during the Meta gaming showcase, but there are also several new contents revealing more about the immense work behind this game. Stay tuned for more details of what seems to be the Quest flag game developed by Sanzero Games, already known for the masterpiece on PC Asgard Wraith. I Expect You to Die 3 is coming to Quest 2 and Quest Pro on August 17, 2023, and as mentioned in the previews, it was not included in my list of August releases simply because I forgot. Okay? I forgot. So now you know. A PC VR version should arrive later by this year. And that's it for this edition of VR News. See you in the comments and see you next Monday for another edition. Like, subscribe and keep following. Support the channel using the super thanks button. That's all from Ben. See you next time and see you in VR. Greetings, Riff Raff.